All right, welcome back. Tippy Tap 8.
Is it 8?
I believe it's 8.
You guys have been spoiled. You're getting too much Tippy Tap.
We're just really fucking saving the rod, rotting the child. What is it?
Spare the rod,
Spare the
spoil
rods.
the child.
We're
Saving the rod.
I don't know.
Do your research.
I won't. All I know is I try to cut that together because we're going into something very interesting. I didn't know this existed until 2 days prior when you said, Griff, we're doing this.
And I didn't know if it was real or a nightmare, but yeah,
a fever dream from the early 90s.
I was, I'm the researcher, the poor research we get.
You
It
did
all
buy
comes
that
from
fucking
me.
Sam Furstenberg Bible.
Oh, I can't wait to dig into that. There's interviews of Steve James and Sho Kazugi in it.
Look, do you remember that one line you were sharing with me a moment ago about Steve James?
Yeah, there was a story. Should we shave? Can we save this for Steve James, Michael Dudikoff?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to wait for that one.
Yeah, there's so many more tippy-tap little
Wait,
bits of
that's the
information
thing. I
for
wanted
ya.
to absorb all the Sam Furstenberg greatness, and we'll do it probably a special where I just talk about this
I mean,
book.
I've seen you read a book. You read it. You flip through the pages. Well, the first thing you do is just flip through the pages, look for the
I'm actually
going
to learn how to read so I can read this book.
And you read the book.
I've been fooling you all
And
this
then
time.
you do. I've seen the seance reading that you do. That's the one that's weird to me because you open the book, but it's 5 feet away from you on a pedestal, and you're on the ground surrounded by candles, rocks, like the fucking sand, the little peace garden, Zen garden.
That's why I'm a dragon and not a tiger.
Yeah, and then your third eye opens up, and you read the whole book, and that's what helps you remember everything. That's
Right.
crazy.
All right.
I've never seen anything like it. It fits
Well,
in.
it helped me remember this show because, yeah, Griff, 90s, you're probably too young. People were Baywatch crazy. They couldn't get enough of lifeguards.
I knew of Baywatch.
I call bullshit. This was a show that was really big in Europe. I know that. It was it was a cult phenomenon here because it originally was a network show.
Yeah.
And it got canceled like halfway through the season because people were like, "This
Oh.
is fucking garbage.
Why
are we doing a show about lifeguards?"
Yeah.
And then it went syndication, and then it became a popular
See,
thing.
I caught that flipping through channels, because I was. When do you think Baywatch came out? 94?
Earlier than that, I think it came out. I want to say like 89 or 90. It came out. It was on for like 10 years, I think. I don't know. I know nothing about Baywatch. I never watched it.
Yeah.
I was, even as a young man, I was like, I'm above that.
I'm
and on top of it, I was old enough to buy pornography, so I didn't need to watch it for whatever reason people were watching. And I was never into Pam Anderson. On top of it.
That's the only reason I could see people being like, I got to go on my way to watch Baywatch.
Yeah, I was
no,
never into the really super fake looking.
we
like,
were
porn
also
star look.
not big on the Hoff here.
No. Well, he's always been Michael Knight to me. He's not Mitch Buchanan.
Yeah.
Or the fuck
What a
it is.
horrible name.
So yeah, so there was hot as fire. So they're like Michael. I said, like I said, it was
Mitch.
Michael Knight to me.
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff got the bright idea. He's just like, we need more Baywatch in our lives.
But we need to take it a different direction.
Well, yeah, for the original premise of the show, which minimum research I did for this episode was, apparently there was a character on the show, Baywatch, that was a detective or a cop. He was a former cop, and he decided to open. We're doing this show lasted 2 seasons. We're doing the more interesting season 2 episode, this one, but the first season, he left, and Mitch Buchanan, he's like, I'm not doing enough for the world. I'm rescuing people all day. I need to rescue people all night, too.
Yeah, he's rescuing people from the threats of the ocean. He's like, there's other threats out there that I need to
So
stop.
he goes off with this character who I don't fucking know because I never watched the show. And there was originally it was a straight-up detective show. And then the ratings went in the toilet because nobody liked this shit. So they're like, hey, what's hot right now, too? Besides Baywatch. X-Files.
So there's your brief explanation to that mashup theme I
Yeah.
try to do here.
Right. So they were like, we need to add supernatural elements to the show. And I wish they did because I would have watched. No, I wouldn't have watched the show. But I would have made fun of the show like we're going to do today. And we're probably, oh my God, this episode, there's this such complete failure on every aspect of filming, acting.
While we were watching
writing.
it, I said they probably had like a very tight 60 minutes worth of film, and that's all they could use. That's all they had the budget for, something, because there's random, like, there's facts that are brought up multiple times, and characters do multiple surprise takes on it. It's
a massive failure on every aspect of filmmaking.
Yeah.
from the acting to the writing to the directing to the camera work to the music.
This is
nothing. There's only one thing: the casting, which we'll get into later, maybe because I don't know. Because we love to tease and never fucking come through.
Yep.
I think we'll come through on this one.
I think we will too.
The casting of this episode is the only thing worthy because it really disturbed me.
They figured out who to get.
Sickened me.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
They
with this.
knew where to go with this character.
This reminds me of the conspiracy videos that like one of the crazy conservatives will peddle out there and be like, "See, here's proof that murderer blood can get out there and cause other people to be murderers."
Well, yeah,
sorry to bury the lead here.
Yeah,
it comes up pretty quickly, but just the way it's shot and all the fucking
a lot of Dutch
angles.
little inside baseball for you. Dutch angles, where they tilt the camera to give an eerie kind of feeling. Lot of them.
Oh my god! And they got like some blurry vision happening, and oh my god,
it's all horrible.
It's jarring. Everything about this is jarring as all get out.
Right. So let's just set the scene. Let's just get into this.
Okay. So we've already addressed Baywatch meets X-Files.
Baywatch meets X-Files, and it failed, and the show's canceled after 2 seasons. But there's still 44 episodes, so you'll have at least 43 other Tippy Tap episodes to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not going to do the first season. We're going to stick with the Supernatural season. Yeah. I wonder if they changed. They had to have changed because we have a very eerie opening credits. I wonder if they changed the music as well for the first season because the first season's not going to have werewolves in it.
That werewolf turning its head. It's like a fucking what's it called? Not a mannequin. A fucking.
It's like a stuffed animal. Yeah, like a taxidermy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
So amazing, but. So this, I want to say it's a cold opening, but we're in California in the beautiful beach weather, so it's like a warm opening because it's warm weather. But we're going...
Stay 6 feet apart.
Please. And these detectives were. These people inspecting.
6 feet apart.
So we're in the midst of a serial killer kill room.
We're in a satanic murder crime scene.
Yeah.
Last little CSI thrown in there too.
Just a little bit.
So we have a detective and we have a doctor. I guess he's kind of like Donald Pleasant's character from Halloween.
I was just gonna say that.
I forget his name.
Perfect.
And Loomis, Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis.
This is Dr. Block.
Block.
As in Blockhead.
Yeah.
Because he's an idiot. Because, so we have every cliche in the book for a satanic scene. We have the fucking blood everywhere. We have newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
We have murder weapons. And then we have, this is where I'm like, this guy is a blockhead because they have it's called, I don't know the proper pronunciation. I think it's Baphomet.
Baphomet.
It's a version of Satan, which
Yeah.
everybody knows. It's the goat head with very gender neutral Satan because it's got like a man's torso but with tits.
Yeah.
And then goat hindquarters.
I believe it is Baphomet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And he points out it's a ram's head. No, it's a goat's head, you fucking idiot.
I've been studying this guy for years. Look at that ram's head.
And he's like, he's talking to the detective. He's like, this is all the makings of a Richard Kempler serial killer scene. Everything. But he's dead.
Richard Kempler's been dead for 9 years, Chief.
No, 4 months.
Excuse me, 4 months.
But then he's like, so the cop is thinking like a cop's like, well, maybe it's a copycat. But there were things from these scenes that were never released to the public. There's no way anybody could know.
Absolutely not. They knew to get the ram's head knockoff Baphomet instead of the goat head. I mean, everything's set up. And we got the newspaper clippings. We got the KFC partially eaten dinner with the jelly spread across it.
He only eats the little end tip of the wings. That was freak. That creeped me out.
That's creepy. It
has no meat on it. Like there's the little 2 bones in it.
Mashed potatoes with no gravy. He gets the green beans.
No, he didn't eat the mashed. He ate the gravy, but no mashed potatoes. That was so weird.
There's so many weird things, and he's like, no, there's no monster like this in the world.
Right.
It's got
inhuman.
It's got to be Kempler, and they're like, but the guy.
Or it could be the Terror, but the Terror already got taken care of by Chuck Norris.
And so they're like, well, the guy who did this, we caught him. I mean, his name's Buckler.
Buckland, yeah.
Ron Buckland or something. So we're really left there scratching our head. I mean, what
well, they didn't catch him. They had a shootout with him. It was It was suicide by cop.
Oh.
He came. They cornered him into a house, and he came out guns a-blazing. The cops had to kill this guy.
Oh, that's how he went down. Okay.
But they're like, he's a serial killer too. But he's not like Kempler. This is a perfect. He's like, well, serial killers sometimes copy each other. But he's like, no, there were things people didn't know about. Only I knew about the scene. So we're like, what's going on? How is this guy? Is Kempler? Is he back from the grave?
Oh man,
is he a ghost?
And before we even get a chance to really linger on that, they don't even have a nice breakaway sound effect like the bum bum, anything like that.
Boing.
They just go to the next scene and fucking throw Hoff
they
right
just
into your
throw
face.
some fucking cold water on us. It cool us down. Because we get a little comedy scene.
It's Hoff doing his best little bit.
Right, we meet Ryan, who's one of the detectives in the
Do they even have a name?
Baywatch Night Investigations.
Night and Day Baywatch.
I don't remember
investigations.
And she's really concerned about because if you're a real legitimate business, you want to be people at ease.
Yeah, you're going to be inviting clients into your office, so you want to have a nice fish tank. You want to have lots of beautiful fish in there. You want to keep them alive, probably.
Yeah, and fortunately, Ryan's not very good at that.
Yeah,
and Hoff, he wants to lighten the mood. He comes in with his perpetually popped collar on his denim jacket. It's always popped, and he always did that. Even as Michael Knight, he always had that popped collar.
Yeah,
that's
he's got those popping blue eyes, and he's got that popping blue jean collar. So it's like everything's popping.
And Mitch is like, somebody order coffee, and she's like, coffee? I don't need caffeine right now. This is fucking serious. Our fishes are dying.
Well, it's decaf.
And then they go, oh, Mitch, you just know how to lighten a mood. He's like, face it. Fish go to die here.
Yeah.
They're dead before they're alive. I don't know what that means, but that's the way it is. And he just lightens the mood.
And then there's a knock on the door, and he says, see, here's another fish coming to die. What? Great joke. Me and Murray had to pause the episode because we were laughing so hard. We were just watching this.
Oh.
The way David Hasselhoff delivers a joke, it just gets you. It strangles you by the feet and drops an elbow on your neck.
We'll explain one of his methods later. But Dr. Block shows up, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for a Donna so-and-so.
Markowitz.
Markowitz?
No, it was like Marco.
It was Donna Marco.
Yeah.
And played by Playmate Donna D'Erico. Normally, when we ever have a Playmate on a show, I list their turn-offs and turn-ons, but if I can't find it in 30 seconds, fuck it. I just cut the cord. So,
it's also a tippy tap. That's a fucking regular show thing, man.
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't want to do the research. I couldn't find it. But
so let's just say.
But here's a little tidbit of her. She was married to Motley Crue's Nikki Sixx for like 10 years.
Oh,
until he turned her in for a younger model.
Do you think Nikki Sixx had anything to do with Bobby Six Killer?
No, but he was involved with some satanic shit, according to Vanity, who he also dated.
Oh,
and Lita Ford.
Really?
I don't buy it.
But
he probably called a Baphomet fucking Ram's Head too.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx. Fuck you.
That's where the writer probably got the. We were talking last week about the writer who was trying to write about something he didn't know at all, but was trying to get into that. That was Chips. Yeah.
Punk scene.
And the punks, and this guy clearly was trying to get into the satanic mindset.
Right.
And
he
had
dropped the ball.
No clue what he was talking about.
Because there's really not satanic shit doesn't play a big part of this episode, and he still dropped the ball.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's just like a little bit of scene dressing.
It's just like that thing. This guy's really evil. He's into Satan.
I'm surprised they didn't have like some metal music or something playing that really scares.
Well, the music is awful in this episode too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would think that would be the setup. Like Sammy Kerr in our much underrated Trick or Treat episode.
Yes.
They would say like because they never explained what happens, why he can do what he does.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. So Hoff's like, oh, Donna, she's got her period or something. She didn't show up.
Yeah.
I'll call her for you, though. And he calls up Donna. We see Donna, and she's standing in front of a full-length mirror, got all her lingerie out. Very normal day for Donna.
Oh, man.
And she's just posing with it. She's not wearing it. She's like holding it in front of her.
Yeah. Was she still in a towel at this point? Because she was getting ready to shower.
I think she was in a towel.
Yeah.
And Hoff is like, hey, Donna, this Dr. Block's here to see you. And she's like, oh, really? Who is that? And she's acting very strange. I couldn't tell if it was just her stilted acting or she was actually acting really strange.
I know. It's like the way she's delivering her lines reminds me of somebody, but yeah. It's just
someone who can't act.
Someone who can't act.
And she's like, well, have a good time, Hoff. I got shit to do. I need to shower. And then that just, like, Hoff's like, that seems odd. It's not like Donna to shower in the middle of the day.
Yeah, in the middle of the day? Oh.
So
weird.
let's go over there because I'm getting some weird vibes off of her.
Yeah, and so they're like, we'll take Dr. Block over there. Hoff does tell her Dr. Block's going to come over. What he doesn't tell her is that we're also going to come over.
Right. And so remember, people, this is 95. There was no internet porn. So we need...
I'm sorry, is this where they have the discussion? No, they don't learn any of this yet.
Yes. So we get a nice, about 1 minute satanic soap down scene.
It's beautiful.
With Donna.
You could tell that all of the film went towards this shot right here.
They probably spent a whole day filming this scene.
And Donna, who's, again, the actress's name. Actress. That seems like a stretch for this woman. But
she had to stretch to remember her own name. Wait, what? What character am I? It's your fucking name.
But you can tell that this woman was like, can I put some clothes? Nope.
What, Donna, would someone showering wear clothes? I thought you were a method actor.
No, I guess they wouldn't.
You're right. I've studied under the greats, under the Manhattans of the world.
She's got the nice sudsy hair, but then she has this one lock of not even hair, but it was just soap going down.
It was very weird, but so it had to be intentional.
Yeah, it had to be.
So while she's showering, she's up there. The guys just like bust in her house. They notice. They're looking in the window. They see satanic shit. We see candles. Totally satanic.
Yeah. You got to talk about the fucking when they're walking up to the door. We get the camera shot of like they've got like the weird panes of glass, so you can't really look through them, and it's
like
distorted.
Pane of glass.
It wasn't fog. It was just distorted, so you couldn't.
Pebbled like marble, kind of.
Yeah. So the camera is actually shooting Hoff walking up to the door through that
bullshit camera angles.
Also, the Dutch angles through distorted windows, so it's like you get this weird prismatic effect.
Yeah, they're trying to like make you feel off yourself.
Yeah,
like,
and the lighting
not
in this,
working.
The lighting in this is all over the place. Like nobody ever has lights on.
They're trying to mimic X-Files, where everything's dark for some reason. Like I always loved that on X-Files when like Scully was like doing, because she was like a doctor, so she would do an autopsy, and it's like a totally pitch black room with just a spotlight on it, like that's how it really happens.
Yeah. Oh shit, where'd I leave that?
It's mood lighting basically. So the doc, he's like, probable cause. I see all the satanic shit. She doesn't know that she's dated Nikki Sixx at one time, so he left some shit.
He left some shit there. Yeah, and it's just up on the mantle, like nice and decorative, and he's just like, oh, that's the ram's head. I recognize that ram's head anywhere.
That's a Satan. So Hoff goes, that's enough for me.
That's enough for me. Too bad Donna doesn't. Well, wait. Does Hoff have a key, or does Donna?
Well, she puts it underneath the mat, so he knows where it is. She trusts him, so
okay.
So he lets himself in. And the doc immediately goes to that shrine.
Yeah, he's studying the he calls it a ram's head again, the goat's head. He's studying the shit out of it, fingering it.
He needs to study a little more because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
but he does notice a nice like array of knives.
Yeah, folded over red sheet, and he pulls it back to revel all the knives.
He's like, shit, are these Ginsu? These fucking, he's cutting a fucking can with it. He's like, this shit's good.
He cuts like the smallest, thinnest slice of tomato, and he's like, oh my god, this is gonna make the best BLT ever. I can't wait to tell Hoff about this.
And while he's just distracted by that, Hoff heads up to Don's room. He sees all that lingerie out, and he's like, holy shit.
I wonder if it's still warm. I'm gonna have to touch this.
He does smell it.
Yes.
And he's like, this was worn recently.
I
know Donna's smell. And while he's just fucking playing around with the lingerie, Donna comes out of the kitchen with a fucking butcher knife and attacks Dr. Block. Knocks his block off.
Oh, my God. And again, Hoff points out to Ryan, who's like, why would Donna be doing all this weird stuff? And Hoff's like, well, I did point out.
During the day, because she usually does all this weird lingerie shit at night.
Yeah. And
Baywatch night.
He says, well, I did tell Donna that the doctor was coming over, but I didn't say we were going to come over. And then you hear the scream downstairs, and it's Dr. Block.
Like, no!
I don't like being stabbed.
She just slashes his hand.
Yeah.
And then Hoff comes in, Mitch. He grabs her, or he tries to, and she takes off.
Yeah, she's slippery. She just got out of that soapy sudsy shower, so she's slippery.
She's slick as a motherfucker, and she's probably got a little bit of sheen on.
We know what she's about to go out to do, so of course she applied a little sheen.
And so she gets in her convertible and takes off.
Oh.
So Block goes, look, you guys have believed everything I've said so far, and I haven't even told you the truth. I'm going to actually... You don't even know who the fuck I am, and you're just doing whatever I tell you to. So I'm going to tell you some story. I'm going to give you some facts. Here it is. Kempler. You don't remember Richard Kempler, the serial killer?
Oh, my God, yeah. You guys caught him, what was it, 4 months ago?
Exactly.
He killed 12 people, serial killer, all the same style, satanic goat's head, you fucking idiot.
And he was attracted to beautiful women.
Beautiful women. And he lured it wasn't forceful. They came to him.
Right.
He's a moth to light. They just loved him. So he's charming. He had to be charming.
He spoke with a forked tongue. Women loved him.
Oh.
Well, Kempler was on a prison bus being shipped off to prison with a man named Buckland. And while they were on their way to prison, they were involved in a 10-car pileup. There's just fucking Kempler's blood was everywhere. He just exploded when the car hit. And Donna is happening. That's how I know about Donna, because apparently everyone gave her they gave their address and name that was involved with this.
I guess so.
Well, insurance purposes,
of course, yes.
And
yes.
So he's like, when she was helping, I'm sure she's a lifeguard, so I'm sure she immediately wanted to help.
Resuscitating people, mouth to mouth.
She must have. This is the only way it makes sense. She must have got Kempler's blood on her. We know transference. We've learned that. We've learned that for the past 2 months about transference.
Yes.
If she wore a mask, she would have been totally fine.
That's right.
Which is why you need to wear a mask.
Wear a fucking mask.
So what happens is when you get serial killer blood on you, you get infected. You get infected, quotation marks, by the serial killer. And then Mitch is like, that makes perfect sense. Great acting great eye acting. We talk about hand acting from the great Billy Drago. Great eye acting. It's like wide-eyed wonderment and then shrewd. Like, I don't know about this guy. Wide-eyed wonderment, shrewd. He's just going through all these gamut of emotions while he's listening to this crazy story.
And Doctor is not even done yet. But Block, he's like, you guys need to sit down because I'm not even done yet. So this Buckler guy, by the way, he's he was just out. We just caught him and murdered his stupid face because he was out there doing the same shit. And I got even more things to tell you.
By the way, my wife got killed by Kempler, and they're like, I'm going to remember that.
You notice Hoff say, "I will remember that."
Now, we want to point out, this is the moment where they could have explained, tried to make up some bullshit Sammy Kerr story where he did a satanic ritual where his blood could do this. No. We're taking what this doctor who's just pulling shit out of his ass at face value.
And so he's like, okay. So now that we've kind of broken down how Kempler does this and that he was charming and that he was
Ted Bundy, man.
He was Ted Bundy.
He's Richard Ramirez.
And so your friend Donna, I saw her when she was running away. When she slashed at me, I wanted to fuck her.
Yeah, she was hot as fuck.
She was hot as fuck. There was just something about
the sheen on her chest.
Just that sheen, man.
She sheen.
And Ryan pipes in, and she's just like, look, Donna's hot as fuck. She calls in here all the time while she's banging dudes to make sure that we know she's safe. And we listen to her banging. She's banging a new dude every other day. So she's going to go out there and find anybody.
She could have any victim she wants.
Wow. So, Murray, why don't we cut to Donna.
Donna.
Acting her ass off, trying to do a split personality thing.
It was so fucking bad. Even by, porn actress standards, this is some fucking horrible acting.
This is rough.
Even everyone involved with this production was horrible. Even Hoff, who's been acting for years, you're like, shit, did he...
God, aside from the eye acting, it's like you should.
Eye acting was splendid, but the talking, no.
Every one of his lines, awful.
So yeah, she pulls up. She noticed that corner of her eye. This would made no sense to me because we were just told, okay, it's like a Jekyll Hyde thing where Kempler can take over her body and she's fighting it.
Yeah.
But we just told Templar loves attractive women. He goes to malls. He goes to MILF gyms. That's where he gets his victims.
Yes.
So why? I guess apparently he's very gender fluid as well as evil because he is drawn to a man who happens to be hitchhiking.
Yeah.
I guess this is no ordinary man, though.
This is not an ordinary man. We've seen him before. He's straight out of the fucking Studs episode of Renegade, man.
It's Glenn.
It's Glenn. He's got that hair, that beautiful hair.
He's fallen on his luck. His Renegade ruined his whole blackmail operation.
Yes.
So he's fallen on hard times. He's got to hitchhike.
Yeah.
Because there's no public transit in L.A. You got to fucking hitchhike. Man. Everyone drives.
He probably tried out for Baywatch Beach, and they were like, "We know about you and your previous work." I mean, that started the Renegade episode. Started them busting a guy on the beach.
Right. It all makes sense. This makes more sense than Dr. Block's explanation for Kempler.
Oh my God. Dr.
So
Block.
we can tell it's fucking Glenn because he has that floppy fucking parted down the middle hair.
He's got some updates though. He's got he's got like 1 or 2 strands,
blonde highlights.
Yeah.
Ugh. So he's like hop in. He's like, don't mind if I do.
Of course.
So she just starts driving. She doesn't ask, and he doesn't ask either. He's just like, I'm down to fuck. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't care if she's a serial killer. I'm down to fuck.
It doesn't matter.
So they go to Makeout Creek.
Oh, man. The makey out of Creeks.
He's ready. His baggy jeans are getting a little tight.
You could tell how ready he is by the fact that they stop, and he doesn't even bother to undo his seat buckle.
He's ready to fuck with a seatbelt on.
Yeah, he's like...
That's the only protection he's going to be using.
I was just going to say, he's like, I'll use protection. Keeping my seatbelt on.
It counts. And so just as he thinks she's about to just jump on him, straddle him, she whips out that butcher knife.
Oh, my God.
Hey, lady, stop!
She is rubbing the blunt end of the knife across his face and like going up and down.
So terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, it still would be a little terrifying.
Well,
but still.
yeah, but not for a TV show. Like, if it happened to me, even then, I'd be like, bitch, like, grab her and grab the knife out of her hand. Because she's like holding it all, like, limply.
She is. She really is. She's got this fucking, like, Dudikoff, like, I don't really care. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know. But you could tell she is fighting the spirit because... Not great face acting, but you see her face like squinch up, then open up, and then she reaches down. She's got this beautiful cell phone in her car, or not a car phone.
Yeah.
And she starts dialing 2 rings, and then we cut back over to Hoff picking up the phone. Donna.
She's got the same thing that Mitch uses later on, where you can immediately redial whoever called you.
Star 69.
Star 69.
Yeah. So she calls him up. And again, I prefaced this earlier. Donna always calls them when she's banging some dude to make sure it stays safe. This is like her form of consent. Keeps everything safe, you know? And Ryan and Huff...
She Me Too's a lot of people, so she's got backup.
I think it's going the opposite way. I think she's been Me Too'd, so she's got to make sure there's evidence that they were willing.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, she's a creep.
Yeah, she's the creep here. Yeah. She's creeping people. So yeah, she's calling up Hoff, and Hoff's like, "Oh, don't worry, Donna. I'll put you on speakerphone real quick." So we can hear those pleasures, sounds
Ryan's
all throughout the
going
office.
onto her belt. He's like, "The doc's here.
Doc's here.
Be professional. Go feed the fish.
Go feed the fish."
But yeah, so she's like struggling. You can hear it in her voice. The doc is like, "She's fighting. She's winning my fight."
Yeah,
Kempler always wins.
Always.
He's too powerful.
And you hear Donna, "Put your hand on my leg." Higher.
Yeah, she really is. She's making the guy, and then I'm like, okay, I guess fucking Kempler's open for anything.
Yeah, really.
He wants to know what it feels like to be fucked as a woman, apparently.
Yeah, maybe he's
but while that grunting and groaning's going on, we were it's kind of like plane noise.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. You picked up on that?
Well, we're not detectives like Hoff.
Oh, okay.
And so Kempler takes over again and hangs up. But Hoff, he goes to Block and goes, "Did you hear those plane noises?" Block's like, "I was masturbating. I don't know what you're talking about." It's like, well, so was I, but I still picked up on the plane noises. There's only like probably 500 airfields in all of fucking L.A., but it must be this. I'm pretty sure by the sound of that was a biplane.
Yeah,
single engine.
Yeah.
I know only single engines fly into this one that just happens to be right down the street.
And I noticed before we went into Donna's house, she only had a quarter tank of gas, which means she's within this circle-mile radius, and it's a Mustang, and she was driving at 30 miles an hour, so she's got to be within these
he's
three...
doing some fucking...
Hoff goes into the full geometry here. He's breaking it down.
Story problems.
Yes. And so he's like...
His SATs must be through the roof.
That's how we got a PI business, man. So he's like, it's got to be this park. We have no other choice to go to this park.
Right. I know where she takes people to fuck.
Yeah.
And it's Makeout Island.
Yeah, I mean, again, Donna's still in there.
Right.
So
we tell back to Donna, and she's hog tying this guy. He's like, I'm into some weird shit, but I don't know. Like, should you take my pants off first?
Yeah.
And she's like, quiet, pig. And she's just about to pull out that knife and start going to town on this guy. And Hoff pulls up. Luck would have it, he picked the right fucking place.
He parks like a mile away or something. Like, he parked kind of far away. But he's got those squeaky brakes, and Donna is so offended by those brakes that she gets off of the dude and runs behind a tree and starts vomiting everywhere.
Yeah, and he's like, that hurts. Obviously, Glenn is in a dark place right now.
Yeah.
And the last thing he needs is a woman vomiting right after they're about to, in his mind, fuck.
Yeah, because he was like, yeah, I kind of hate this, but I'm also kind of into it because she was about to ride my dick. Yeah, he sees that, and it's going.
So it does. All the confidence he had just melts away. You might as well kill him because you've killed him spiritually.
Unlike the milky candy outside coating of a M&M.
Milky coating of an M&M? No, it's not the candy shell. It's like a molecular bonded candy shell.
I know. I realized as soon as I said that, I fucked that up.
So Kempler, he's taking over. She vomited. She got some of the poison out. But Kempler takes over.
No, I thought what was happening there is she was vomiting out the rest of Donna. I thought that's what it was representing.
Maybe they already fucked and she was spitting. She wasn't. Maybe it wasn't vomit. Maybe she had a mouthful of jizz. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't watch this show. So
I don't think we would learn that from any other episode. But
more on the cutting room floor.
More on the cutting room floor.
Donna never swallows. So
Donna runs off into the woods.
She's fighting for her life. While that's going on, Mitch finds her car. And, when the wind's blowing, it's a little windy day, you got to check your hair.
You got to make sure, it's still tight.
Got to see that collar's nice and popped.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't know, maybe the wind knocks the collar around.
So we get this beautiful, and by beautiful I mean retarded, scene of Hoff, like, look, the guy directing thought it was a genius fucking
He totally did. Because
he looks in the side mirror of the car, and he's fixing his eyebrows.
He's opening the door and adjusting it just so he can perfectly line it up.
Piercing blue eyes.
Oh.
And he just moves the thing, and you can see Donna running up behind him with that knife. And he's like, "Oh, Donna!" He turns around. They start struggling with.
Oh. And they go to this blurry action scene where it's like in slow-mo, Donna, no, I know you're in there. And she's slashing them. We can't tell what's going on because, again, the vision is so blurry.
Jelly on the lens. So
it must have been a lot of pack jelly because barely tell.
But he's like, Donna, snap out of it. And he grabs her.
Bear hugs her.
And they get her to the hospital, and thankfully, thank God, the docs, they removed any trace of Kempler's blood off her. Even though she took a shower earlier, do you think any blood on her body would be missing?
It's like, how does this blood work?
I don't know how it works.
It's so weird.
I don't think anybody, including the writers, know how the blood works.
We do have to point out that Hoff actually got caught in the neck. He's got a nice little exposed. You didn't even bring up the doctor's wound earlier.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You were so bothered by this wound.
Yeah, because he's
a doctor.
He gets slashed across the top of his hand, the back of his hand, and he knows the back of his hand as well as he knows Kempler, because Mitch points that out. And so we get a scene to let you know he's bleeding. So he's supposed to be washing the blood off his hand and bandaging it. No, he just puts his hand next to some running water and then immediately covers it with a bandage.
So there's blood all over. It's just like splotchy everywhere.
He should have been washing it and saying fucking happy birthday 2 times. No.
That's what you do, yeah.
That's how you spread COVID, Dr. Blockhead.
Fucking dumb. This is no doctor. This is the type of doctor who spreads conspiracy rumors.
Right. So this is the kind of doctor that says Trump is 185 pounds. So the doc, he gets a call. Apparently they're on blood watch. Everybody that was exposed to the blood.
Oh, yeah. They're back at the PI office.
Yes.
I believe you mentioned Donna's doing fine. They're just taking all the other blood off.
Yes.
You
they're
mentioned
scrubbing her vigorously with scouring pads.
And Hoff is doing more fish. He's got a whole fish routine. So he's like, oh, how about them fish?
He's working on his 5 minutes to catch a rising star.
Yeah.
And so Doc, apparently that's the new headquarters. Everyone's calling Doctor at Baywatch Nights Investigations.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we just got to call another guy who's exposed. Apparently this is the last guy. I guess the doc has found everybody else who's exposed to this blood.
So weird.
And so I got his address. Let's go. So they head to this house.
Yeah, Ryan's like, I'm sick of this weird blood bullshit. No, you guys can go. So
Right.
Hoff,
I got fish to feed.
Hoff's like, I don't. If this is another blood hungry crazy lady, I want to bang her first. I want to figure out what this is all about.
Right. So they head to the house, and as luck would have it, a woman does answer.
That's true.
And they're like, sorry, miss, we're looking for a Ray Regan. Not Reagan, Regan.
Oh, I see what's happening here. I like that.
And they're like, oh, you mean my husband, Ray Regan?
Yeah, your husband. Okay.
My husband, who's a member of the SWAT team, Ray Regan?
SWAT team, very interesting. And as we zoom in on Hoff's eyes acting the fuck out of the scene and being really intrigued by this information and lodging it into the back part of his brain so we can do some figures with it later, a car pulls up. And we zoom
Not
in
any
on
car.
Not any car.
A black and white.
A black and white, okay? And he notices people at his door, and so he's like, this is really strange.
So we're thinking, this is where it gets interesting. This is why we're doing this episode. We're like, what vile piece of shit could you get to play the perfect sicko, serial killer, sex criminal?
I really don't know, because we don't get a good look at him in this scene. You know?
just see the close-up of these paunchy, chubby cheeks.
And that could be about any creep I can think of, you know?
Face looks like a catcher's mitt with eyes. And we're like, and then we just hear this blood-curdling douchebag voice.
Oh, it's all starting to sound familiar, but it's just, we're not given enough yet. Just not quite enough. But he calls it, he notices the plate of the car that it's in front of his house, and so he calls it into his into the police station. And he's like, run these plates. Oh, that belongs to the Baywatch Nights, the PI investigators. And he's like, good, patch me through to them. And a lovely lady answers, and he says, oh, a lady.
Enchanté, mon ami.
And he's like, what's going on? Why? Well, I don't even remember if Ryan spills the beans on, you know, what the deal was here. But
well, no, I think she reveals that she's there alone or something.
Yeah.
And then we pull back, and then I almost vomited like fucking Donna. Because who else could play a sicko, sex criminal, serial killer, Satanist? It's G&G favorite, not so favorite, Robert fucking Ginty.
God damn it.
I saw those jowls. I should have put it all together. I should have done a Mitch. But no. I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
So, because the audience needs to know that Mitch knows, he peers over his left shoulder. The car was over his right shoulder, but somehow notices the car driving away, and he's like, oh, that was a black and white.
Well, we learned he has some particular senses.
That's
good.
Into. That's good. We definitely need to get into that later.
He does, yeah. You can just tell something's going on in his mind, and he looks over to the left, but somehow sees toward the right.
Joker's
sees
to the left.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Because he never calls it a cop car. It's always
Never.
black and white.
Always.
Because he's a PI.
He's a
not,
PI now.
No, he's
Yeah.
not like a regular old civilian like us.
So now we got to follow Ginty.
Yeah, this is where the show gets sickening.
Yes. And he's pulling out all...
Close-ups of the mouth, Dutch angles of his jowls.
Oh, my God.
If you thought his jowls were sick in a regular old shot, how about a Dutch angle?
Dutch angle with the Star Trek lighting. Oh, my God. It's too much.
It's just this wet mouth they keep closing in on. And not only does it look sick, the things he's saying are vomit-inducing.
So he has gone in to Baywatch Nights, and he just walks right in. He doesn't knock. He just walks
He's
in.
a cop. He can do whatever he wants.
It's not just a cop. He's a SWAT cop.
SWAT cop.
So he's like, hey, I need to talk to Mitch. Oh, Mitch isn't here. Oh, I need to talk to that other guy here. There's no other guy. And Ryan's like,
are you telling me a lady's a fucking investigator?
oh. Ryan starts kind of putting it together like, oh. And she looks up. She's like, man, if I had more lights on, I would have figured this out quicker. I need to run away from this creep. But she's like, oh, here's the weirdest thing. I got to go out and buy bra. I got to go buy a bra. And he's like, well, not so fast. I'm going to buy a bra too. Why don't you hop in my car? I'll take you there. I'm a cop. Police SWAT. So he captures her.
Fucking sick. Fuck.
And we follow them around in his SWAT car.
Whispering sick nothings into her ear.
Oh.
He's like, oh, yeah, you remind me of somebody. My sister.
Oh.
She gave me the case of the white fire.
Oh.
He's just, ugh. You can't get any grosser.
And Ryan's like, I don't think I remind you of your sister. I think you should let me off here.
Well, you don't have the body of my sister. You've seen my sister naked. Beautiful. It's a shame she was my sister.
Oh.
We used to do bank heists all the time.
You would switch
heists.
sides immediately if you saw my sister. Oh, my God.
And so even the director's like, we're losing our audience. Switch back to Hoff. So we go back to the I'm going to call it Baywatch Nights Investigations, right above 6 Killer Investigations on the first floor. And they bust in. They find Ryan's missing. And the doc's like, oh, my God, not again.
Wasn't the place trashed, too?
It was trashed.
How did he get he captured her and trashed the place? Or does that mean Ryan put up a fight?
Yes, that's exactly what it
means. The latter.
Yes.
Put up a fight.
Ryan
okay.
Put up a fight. Would you go with that guy?
No.
If I didn't even think he was possessed by a serial killer, I wouldn't go with it. And he's a cop, and I'm like, I don't trust this guy.
Oh my God, yeah, no way.
And so he's like, oh my God, it's like my wife all over again.
And Hoff's like, wait a minute, let me sit down for this information.
Right.
And Doc's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to sit down too. Here's the thing.
I'm going to tell you something. I told you 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I just told you this.
He's like, hold the phone. You didn't tell me anything. Yeah, I kind of did. 20 minutes ago, I told you my wife was killed by Kempler. What? This is the first I'm hearing of it.
It already felt weird, this whole episode. This is a 40-minute show. The first 20 minutes were saving Donna. It felt like, okay, episode over. And then they're like, oh, wait, there's more. And they breached this information again. And it's like, it's lost its effect, but not to Hoff. Hoff's like, what?
They probably have so much little respect for the audience for this show. They're like, we have to spoon feed them like shit.
That might be it. They might have forgotten. When they saw Kinty's face, they were like, what the fuck is this?
Yes, Kinty can make your mind go blank. When
He really can.
You can go into trauma. You go into shock seeing Kinty.
Maybe that's how his sister ends up fucking him in White Fire. She's like, oh, it goes into shock. I don't know. Just imagine him pouring out little thimbles of booze again. Ugh.
So, what is Hoff?
So Hoff is sitting there and he's like, oh my God, we got to put this together. We got to figure out. Wait a minute. The black and white that was at the Regan house the other day. And the call that came in.
Earlier in the day.
God damn it. Oh my God.
Literally 45 minutes ago.
And so Hoff's like, he must have called in. And he must have found out that Ryan was here alone. So he called. So I just got to call the last number that called. So we star 69's that shit.
Right.
Because of course.
Oh, I wonder if they were a sponsor.
It must have been.
AT&T?
Because they did zoom really close in, and he did it very slow. And he turned to Dr. Block and said, star 69. It smiled. That was a hell of an advert.
So they find out that, yes, it's
police
police station answers. So, yes, it's Ray Regan.
It's gotta be.
It's the cop. And he's like, well, come on. Think, where would they take Ryan? And then Dr. Block's like, okay, well, he wanted Kempler always wanted a secluded space.
Yeah.
He would go to a parking lot, which is not secluded at all.
Nope.
He would go to a bowling alley, and he would go to Culver's movie theater.
Culver's movie. That's just around the block, so let's just pop in there.
Let's go there first, because I got to save my gas.
So
gas is like $2 a gallon now.
So we pop into Culver, and sure enough, he parks his black and white right out front. Right out front. Right on the street.
Playing cat and mouse games.
And he walks in with Ryan, and he's got. Actually, we see them just open up, and she's on the stage, and she's handcuffed to a bed, and he's getting real close. He's squeezing her cheeks together. Oh my God!
He's squeezing his cheeks.
He's squeezing both cheeks.
He's grabbing some cakes.
He's grabbing cakes, grabbing cheeks. Oh, it's awful.
And to make it even worse, then he gives us an old movie history lesson. Like, we don't need to hear this.
It's awful.
Like, they don't make movies like they used to. Oh. Nobody's fucking their sister. Nobody's, setting people on fire. Nobody's having their black friend get killed in front of them.
It's awful.
What the fuck? I remember coming here. I'd see Exterminator 1 and 2. I'd see White Fire. I'd see a little Invasion USA. I wasn't in that, but I'd watch it.
Not to mention the popcorn buckets. They were perfect for putting your dick into and letting your sister reach in and touch your penis. And Everything was great. What's with this new generation?
Who are these people?
Is he going on his bit too? He's like,
everybody's got their 5 minutes,
and
and they're working it on Ryan all the time. Poor Ryan.
Poor Ryan. Yeah,
like, that's more torture than being killed. Having to listen to some fucking hacks.
The next episode, I imagine Hoff tries to work his 5-minute bit, and she smashes a mug on his face or
slaps him with a fish.
Just something.
So while that's going on, Hoff and the Doc finally show up because they see the black and white.
They see
not cop cars, black and white.
Hoff again. There's this black and white.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know how this happens. It becomes about Hoff. He's like, of course, he's playing a cat and mouse game. He wants you, Hoff.
Yeah, Dr. Block, he spells that out for us, and it's like, what?
Yeah, for the first 40 minutes of this show, it's all been about killing beautiful women. And now it's about playing a cat and mouse game with Hasselhoff.
Yeah, so apparently the serial killer has completely altered himself.
Yeah.
Or is this Ray Regan for real?
I think they've morphed. They've become one. Like, Ray Regan always had this sickness inside of him.
Yeah.
And Kempler just gave him permission to let it out.
So I
don't even think there's any Kempler blood on him. I think Ray Regan's just a creep.
I think so too, and that's why they casted Ginty,
right?
Because they want to the uninitiated, they just think Kempler, but for us, we know this is Ginty.
Right.
This is So I think what happened is Kempler did get the first kill, and that's why there's like the bloody bed up front with all the newspaper clippings and everything. He got the first 2 or 3 kills, but then Ginty was like, no, this is my show. Took over and then started kind of doing something similar.
The poor serial killer is trapped inside Ginty's body.
And the real sick fuck's body. He's like, I don't give a shit. Because none of the satanic shit's there anymore.
No, there's just a lot of blood, a lot of strawberry jam on saws.
KFC.
And
with the gravy slurped out.
Yeah.
The potatoes not eating, just gravy.
Potatoes splattered on the floor. No gravy to be seen.
So he takes. See, this is another Ginty thing. Is that he likes to go up to the what are they?
Balcony.
The balcony, and he's got her. He's squeezing her cheeks again. He's like, "Let's get that squishy face going for when I smooch you."
He's the cheek pincher. That's it.
Yeah. And so we got Hoff walking in the theater all by himself on the main floor.
And he's like, Look at the show that's going to happen now. Because I'm a genius, see? I set a trap for your friend.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
my
the
God.
perfect Ginty impression I just did.
You did a really good at Ginty.
Yeah, it just sickens me.
Creeping me out.
Don't
squeeze your cheeks while I do that.
I don't have the chops. I got to stuff my cheeks with cotton like Marlon Brando to do a proper Ginty. And so Hoff, he's just like a fish out of water. He sees that altar with all the blood and shit.
Yeah, he's so fucking bothered by it that he is not paying attention to his surroundings. He is forgetting all about his teachings.
And remember, the true sicko, Ray Regan, a.k.a. Ginty, is a SWAT team guy. So he knows all about explosives.
Yep, he knows how to trip everything up. He's Home Alone all over the place.
And he Home Alone this whole theater.
Yep.
So our boy Mitch, he just all these brightly laser. You think have a real tripwire, you would not see that.
Yeah,
but no, these lasers because you got to have these cool lasers.
Yeah, again, like the rest of every set in this show, it's dark as fuck. So it's like one of the few things you can see. There's a spotlight on Mitch, and then there's all the red lasers everywhere.
And so Mitch trips the first tripwire, and then boom, a flash grenade. He's blinded.
Yeah.
Completely helpless.
It's straight out of fucking Bloodsport. He's like reaching around and he's yelling. He's got a little blood coming out of his nose.
And, I think it wasn't a flash grenade. I think it was salt. I think salt was shot. Or Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
There's a little bit of foaming in the corners of his eyes.
Yeah. You mean Altoid? No, Alka-Seltzer.
And so this is probably the only good line in this entire episode. What's the matter, hero? Can't see the forest for the trees.
What? Ginty is he would be a Seagal fan. He would be.
No, that was our whole argument because he never said that line. I said Seagal should have said that line because it's a brilliant line. It works in everything, as we see from this episode.
I see. So Ginty was jealous of Seagal's career because he's like, I could have been that guy, but he never got to be that guy because his movies are fucking horrible.
Right.
Okay. I like this. I like what they're doing here.
So Ryan's like, he's got more traps, Mitch. And just as he's so distracted by that, he trips another fucking tripwire.
Oh, my
but
God.
at least he's blind for this one. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. And then there's a concussion grenade. He does a fucking triple gainer off the fucking...
Yeah. He goes jumping. Oh, my God.
It's a concussion. So now he's deaf and blind. But he can sure play a mean pinball.
Yeah, we definitely can. But Ginty is up there cackling his little jowls off. He's
jiggling.
He's
making her pinch his jowls. That's how sick he is.
It's awful. He's like, look, we got to go down and really see this show. We got to get down there and see this blind, deaf, dumb, mute. We got to go see him. We got to go see him.
And Hoff, he's having an inner monologue. Think, Mitch. Go back to your training. Go back to your training.
Murray, here it is again. We thought this was brand new to Michael Knight and Knight Rider. We tried to do all of the montages early in our podcasting career, and then we discovered this montage. And here it is again.
The double montage.
The Hofftage.
Hofftage. Because we've only seen Hoff do it, so we got to think he invented it.
It's the Hofftage.
So
I imagine this is everywhere.
If you didn't
in
listen to
Baywatch.
our Knight Rider episode, if not, shame on you, first of all.
Yeah, shame on you.
We discovered the Hofftage, which is you have Hoff doing whatever he's doing at the moment while having a flashback montage superimposed on top of him.
Yeah, we got
so you're watching two images.
Simultaneous. It's perfect.
He's tapping into the 9 strokes of the lifeguard.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, think back to your training. At night, we had to rescue someone at night.
Yeah.
And where you're blind, you can't hear anything. It's just you, oneness with the ocean.
So
trust your instincts. Feel it.
We got Hoff under a spotlight in a dark ass theater, feeling a broken ass wall, and he's just shuffling along, and we're seeing
great eye acting.
Great eye acting. Good call. And again, just like John Claude when he was blinded, his eyes are wide open, and he's
selling the blindness
exactly
by being wide open.
And he's just reaching around, and then we got that front stroke, that beautiful front stroke. I don't even know if that's a stroke. Front stroke happening.
I don't think there's a front stroke.
I don't think there is.
He's breaststroking.
Breaststroking.
He's butterfly. He's doing a butterfly. He's doing them all. He's going through all the 9 strokes of the lifeguard.
And then we cut back over to Ginty, and he's coming down. He's cackling, and he's yelling out.
Drool coming down his jowls. He's
laughing. Do you have as pretty of a mouth as your lady friend here, Ryan? And he's jiggling her cheeks some more. And then fucking, who's the blind man here? Who's the deaf blind man here? Because Hoff jumps out of the ocean like a fucking shark ready to eat somebody hanging out on the dock.
And he just cold cocks Ginty with a 2x4. Oh, tough guy! And then he just loses his mind and starts pummeling the shit. Well, I don't think he's losing his mind, because that's the natural reaction of Ginty. Pummel the shit out of his face.
He doesn't even see him. He just hits that jowl one time with his fist, and
he went full Van Damme. He's like, ah! And he's just pummeling. Ryan's like, holy shit. She's like, I was just almost raped and murdered by this guy, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah. She's like, remember, that's Kempler, and we know. Obviously, she's fallen under some kind of maybe this is what happened to Ginty's sister as well, is that there's some kind of Stockholm syndrome. Like, Ginty exudes.
I don't know how you could ever feel sympathy for Ginty.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. He's so unsympathetic that he's sympathetic. It's somehow
he's so pathetic that you have sympathetic feelings for him.
Yeah, it's like code when it just somehow wraps around, and next thing you know, you're in the fucking Twilight world or something.
So yeah, like you said, she's like, no, he's still a cop in there. But meanwhile, we know, the viewer, the cop's sicker than fucking Kempler. Yeah, Kempler's creeped out. He's like, please watch this guy so I can be rid of him.
Yeah, you're welcome. By the way,
get me off of him.
You're welcome. We're helping you realize the just grossness of Ginty.
So we got it, like every TV show. You got that wrap up
on Blu-ray. Really?
I'll probably wind up getting that though. But it's probably gonna,
there's commentary.
There's commentary.
Oh my God!
Fred Williamson commentary.
I gotta hear
this
that.
This guy
shit.
was sick, man. I had more lines. I said, I'm not working with this freak.
I used to be in a locker room with all kinds of dudes, and it never got as freaky as that fucker.
Nobody ever fucked their sister where I'm from, and I'm from a freaky place, man.
Oh, my God.
So we get the little wrap-up scene where Mitch has still got that cut. I give it up, man.
Yeah, they kept the cut in there, yeah. They've got a fish in the fish tank now. It's fake. You can see it, like the little thing it's hanging
There's
from.
a wire.
You got Ryan sitting on the back of an easy chair while Mitch is reading a nice little thank you letter from Ray's wife.
Yeah, Ray's wife. She's like, gee, thanks. I was hoping you'd kill him. But you put him in a coma, so now I'm going to get all his pension and not have to deal with him. I'm just going to throw him in a home.
Guys, you are allowing me to live my true dream.
And then we get her phone call, and Ryan picks up, and she's like, hey, Mitch, this is Dr. Block. I guess there was one more victim.
They don't even say that. Doc needs to see us.
No, they do. They explain it.
They
go,
victim?
They go, 14-year-old girl.
Oh.
And then Mitch is like, I guess we got to kill another person.
Eye acting, man. He doesn't even say anything. His eyes tell the whole story.
His eyes tell you he wants to murder a 14-year-old girl.
And then, boom, boom.
And then we go straight into that sweet-ass Hasselhoff music.
Right into the credits. So,
wow.
Who
knew we had such much gold? We had so much white fire that we didn't even know about in Baywatch Nights.
Dude,
we have to investigate it. I want to do a fucking. It has to be an alien episode. We have to do a Baywatch alien episode.
After I watched this one, it's just so much trash. I was like, they did 22 episodes like this.
Yes.
So it's like there's 21 more of these weird ass fucking shows out. People wrote, acted, directed, put time,
money was invested in this.
There's a fish tank that probably
Hasselhoff is one of the co-creators of this show. He came up with this brilliant idea and said, "Make it happen."
I have to know more. We're probably
we have to know. I think the listeners are like they turned it off. They stopped listening to us right now. There's like I have to watch these. By the way, it's on YouTube if you want to watch this episode.
Yeah, you can find those on YouTube.
We don't want you paying for this.
Yeah,
we don't want to hurt you.
I don't think anyone's charging. I don't think you can charge for this.
You think you have to? They should be paying us because the DVDs can go through the roof.
It will, just like White Fire after we did our episode.
Exactly. There was no talk of a Blu-ray before we did White Fire. We had to get a fucking $5 off Amazon, like was it one of those? What's the
digital download?
Digital download kind of things. Yeah.
I had to spend money on Ginty.
Now it's getting deluxe.
I can't believe that.
So, and by the way, Ginty was on another episode of Baywatch Nights.
Really?
He was on the first season too.
Oh, that's right.
Which has something to do with a phone sex line. So since maybe we need to do that one next because it ties into the Star 69. People were Star 69 and all up in that other episode.
That's true. Okay.
So I don't know. We got to get around to that fucking Happy Days episode. So maybe that'll be our next Tippy Tap episode.
It might have to.
But it's our fucking duty to delve into Baywatch Nights now. Once we've just opened the door.
Yeah, everything is there. I need to know. It's the true X-File.
Because you know what, Griff? The truth is out there.